is the U.S. government doing with all the money they're borrowing from China? They're using it to undermine our economy. They're using it to make government bigger so the private sector shrinks. They're using it to encourage more wasteful and unnecessary consumption. Think about their last program that these geniuses came up with, cash for clunkers. But think about the idiocy of this program, right? The country's in trouble, right? We borrowed all this money, and we're basically broke, right? We got to get out of this hole. And they said, what should we do? Let's destroy some cars. That's a good idea. People own cars without car loans. Let's get rid of them. Let's try to find a way to encourage people who have cars that work and where they have no loans, and let's see if we can get them to go deep into debt to buy a brand new car they didn't need so that they can have a car payment. Stroke of genius. So we spent, I don't know how many $1 billion to buy up cars and pour battery acid on the engines. These are cars that already worked. I mean, why not at least give them to poor people? Why destroy them? Make them so no one can drive them? And then the government gave everybody $4,500. Where'd they get that money? Well, they borrowed it from the Chinese. So we went into debt to destroy these cars, and then we went and bought all these cars. And of course, what were the biggest selling cars with the cash for clunkers? They were the Japanese cars. Our trade deficit, last month, increased by the biggest percentage in like 10 years. Why did that happen? It was automobiles and auto parts, because of cash for clunkers. Great. We went into debt to run up the trade deficit when we're in trouble. I said it's like somebody loses their job, right? And they come home from work, honey, I lost my job, and his wife is like, all right, well, why don't we put in a swimming pool? I mean, we're in trouble. We should be driving these clunkers. Why are we buying brand new cars? We're broke. Right? Now they're saying, well, we need this so we can stimulate these government-owned automobile companies. We don't need to make cars for ourselves. We need to make cars and sell them in Asia and sell them in Europe, but to people that actually need them and can afford them. And, of course, the big problem, these economists never even think, they can't see forwards. They can't think 2 or 3 steps ahead. They think, oh, we just, we want to stimulate car sales. All right, well, fine. We bought all these cars, new cars, and now we're deeper into debt than we were before. Okay, fine. How is the economy any better off now? We got more debt. We destroyed some cars. Meanwhile, you got all these people with car payments that didn't have them before. All right. Well, what are they gonna give up? What are they not gonna buy now because they're making a car payment? Right? I mean, what about that? And what about the fact when a number of these people all of a sudden can't make their car payment? Is there going to be a bailout for all the people that got the cash for clunkers money? Because after all, they were driving clunkers for a reason. It's not like they were like, nah, I don't want that new car. I don't want that Mercedes. I don't want, I'm just going to drive this $500, car. They were driving it because that's what they could afford. But why did they buy one of these companies that was doing cash for clunkers, Chrysler? They were giving people $1,500 rebates on top of the cash for clunkers. So you can drive into a Chrysler dealership with a $500 car and drive out with a brand new car and $1,500 in your pocket. I mean, some people might have just done that for the $1,500. What do they care if they make the car payments? This was zero down autos, right? Why not buy one? What do you got to lose? And, I'm sure the financing, all the financing was arranged through GMAC, which is owned by the United States government. So they don't care if anybody pays back the loans. They just want people buying cars. They couldn't care less. So we encouraged people who couldn't afford cars to buy them, and we destroyed a bunch of cars, that had value. I remember my first car in high school was a clunker. Most people's first car. I mean, why would we want to get rid of these cars? When there's certainly demand. The analogy, I think they might do the same thing, is you can make the same argument with houses. Why not destroy houses? Why not buy up houses and bulldoze them and just I wrote an article, I called it Dough for Dumps. But they're doing it now with appliances. I say we can do everything. People have old clothing. Yeah, let's just destroy it all and give money. Furniture, appliances. There's all kinds of things that we have that we can destroy. We can have a real economic boom. Of course, maybe we should hope for some more natural disasters to really get the economy going. A few hurricanes, some tidal waves. We can really. But the level of understanding of basic economics in Washington is non-existent. But all they care about is, look, what can we promise to get reelected? That's why when they say, Peter Schiff says that the recession is secure, as if I'm really happy. I'm enjoying the fact that people are unemployed. I just recognize the fact that the government can't do anything but make it worse. And so to try to level with the American public, say, look, yeah, the recession is difficult, and if you don't want to have recessions in the future, then here's what you have to do. But unfortunately, we can't undo the trillions and trillions of dollars that we spent that we didn't have. We can't magically make all the factories that disappeared reappear. We have a lot of hard work that we have to do to rebuild the industrial economy that disintegrated beneath our feet. But we have to understand what the factors were that caused that to happen.